Thank you, and welcome to everybody for joining today's session. Many of you may know us when our business group was known as Point Grey Research, but today we are part of Teledyne Technologies. Teledyne is made up of several groups that enable technologies to sense, transmit, and analyze information. We're everywhere you look. Our company is made up of four major groups. Starting on the right, you can see engineered systems, aerospace and defense electronics, instrumentation, and digital imaging. It's in this last group that our company, Teledyne FLIR Integrated Imaging Solutions, is part of the business. Teledyne FLIR Integrated Imaging Solutions started out as Point Grey Research in 1997. That means this business has been operating for over 25 years. You can see that this group has introduced a broad range of machine vision products throughout that time period. And if you look really closely, under 2002, that was when the first Ladybug camera was introduced. Most recently, we launched the Ladybug 5 Plus in 2018 and the Ladybug 6 in 2023. This means that the Ladybug product line has been available for over 20 years. Ladybug cameras and software are the leading spherical imaging systems designed to operate on a moving platform in all weather conditions while delivering survey-grade accuracy of plus or minus 2 millimeters at 10-meter distance. Here you can see the product family, shown in the red color, with the Ladybug 5 Plus on the left and the Ladybug 6 on the right. Here you can see a comparison of select technical specifications between the two cameras. On the left is Ladybug 5 Plus, and on the right is Ladybug 6. Note the differences in camera resolution, protection rating, frame rate, camera size, its weight, and the lower end of the operating temperature range. A key objective when launching Ladybug 6 was to maintain all the benefits of the Ladybug 5 Plus camera system, but enhance key features requested by our customers. So let's talk about what's new with Ladybug 6, and I'm going to start with JPEG 12 processing and work my way clockwise. So JPEG 12 processing, or JPEG 12 proc, is a new recording format that we did not have on Ladybug 5 Plus. On the Ladybug 5 Plus, we supported 8-bit processing, where aspects like auto white balance, auto gain, black level setting, and gamma were processed on board the camera. But that wasn't available when you wanted to record in 12-bit. With Ladybug 6 and recording in 12-bit mode, you now have all those onboard processing capabilities. Now we more than doubled the resolution by going from 30 megapixels to 72 megapixels. And we improved the ingress protection rating to IP67. What this means technically is that the camera can operate up to 30 minutes while submerged in 1 meter of water, but that is not an expected use case. It's just a testament to the design and manufacturing of the Ladybug 6 camera. We also improved the GNSS support, Global Navigation Satellite System support. So there's a US GPS, but also Beidou in China, for example, and Galileo in Europe. And with respect to the USB connection, there were several improvements made. So we'll start off with the connector. You may recall that with the Ladybug 5 Plus, it uses a USB type micro B connector, or micro B type connector, whereas with the Ladybug 6, we introduced the M12 industrial grade X-coated connector. I'll show you a photo of that in just a moment if you're not familiar with that. Something else that you may not be familiar with is that the IIS group also implements its own USB 3 protocol. So what we did is we took all the updates from our other product families with respect to USB 3, and we ported them over and implemented in the firmware for Ladybug 6. We also redesigned the GPIO card that's inside the camera to improve signal integrity. Moving down to the right, if you took advantage or you take advantage of video export from the Ladybug software development kit, we now support the video codec AV1. So many of you are probably familiar with H.264, H.265, also known as high efficiency video codec. AV1 is one that began garnering broad support by a wide variety of studios as well as hardware manufacturers. And a notable difference is that it is a license-free video codec. And then back circling down over to the bottom left there, we now support export of 8K video at 15 frames per second. So overall, the enhancements Ladybug 6 focus on image quality, connectivity, and support for video output. Now, I also want to take a moment to talk about some reasons why our customers tell us why they buy Ladybug from us, from Teledyne. So they like the industrial ruggedized design that's designed to operate, as I mentioned, on moving platforms. So vibration, shock scenarios, wide range of temperature, humidity, all weather conditions. They like that. Our spatial accuracy, we talked about the plus or minus 2 millimeters at 10 meter distance for spatial accuracy in terms of the pixel at a particular distance, but it's also our ability to trigger, receive a GPS signal or the global navigation satellite system signal, and having that timed so you know exactly where your camera is at the time it is capturing a frame, and then be able to locate where that pixel is when you project it from the camera itself. We have a commercial grade, extremely comprehensive software development kit. This is a testimony to the 20 plus years that this product line or this family has been available on the market. We have a very well-written, comprehensive technical reference, describes the hardware and the software. We have sample code. We have an API with an API reference. We have a wide variety of technical knowledge base articles, all available, posted online free on our website and available in our community and in our online forum. Our manufacturing quality, consistent quality at scale, I think is one of the strongest points that we can bring to the table to our customers. Our expectation and our customers' expectation is that it doesn't matter if you're buying the first camera, the 10th camera, or maybe hopefully you're one of our customers that have bought the 100th Ladybug camera from us. Our expectation and your expectation is that camera of the same model should have the same level of functionality, performance, and quality every time. It's consistent. We have multiple years of warranty and extended product life cycle. That extended product life cycle is extremely important to our OEM customers because they have long product life cycles and they want their suppliers like us to ensure that we provide support and availability of their key component, like the camera system, into the OEM systems that they're bringing to market. We deliver world-class customer support. We have support across 3 different time zones to provide as support as you follow the sun. And we have had customers that have pushed us. We have customers that have 100 plus vehicles in their fleet with camera systems on board. They operate 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, 50 plus weeks out of the year. They have pushed us. We have delivered. We believe that we are proven in the field. Let's take a moment to talk about the value of resolution or high resolution. Most of you are probably familiar with the concept of HD television or full HD image frame. Sometimes it's referred to as 1080p, but specifically it is 1920 pixels wide by 1080 pixels high, or a 2 megapixel image. Many of you are probably also familiar with 4K. So you double the width and you double the height of a full HD image, that means you have 4 times the number of pixels per frame in a 4K image. With an 8K image, you again double the width and double the height. So now you have 4 times the width and 4 times the height as a full HD image. That's 16 times the number of pixels per frame. And with Ladybug 6, we're delivering 72 megapixels or 12K, or what we would say 6 times the width and 6 times the height as a full HD image. That is 36 times the number of pixels per frame as a full HD image. And Ladybug 6 can produce this at 15 times per second, or 15 frames per second. This is a testimony to the incredible engineering innovation to be able to marshal that much data per second and feed it down a 5 gigabit per second USB 3 protocol. Now this image may look beautiful, and it is a beautiful blue sky day and very pleasing to the human eye. But for an electrical optical system like a camera, it poses several challenges. When you are capturing images on a beautiful blue sky day, like when this photo was taken or when this image was taken, you can't hide from the light source, being in this case the sun. And that light source is very bright, and notice the pixels around the area where the sun is positioned are oversaturated. But look at the performance. Just slightly over to the right, where that car is entering that shaded area behind the tree there, you can still make out the details of the license plate in that low lit section beside where the bright light source is of the sun on the left-hand side. If you look slightly over to the middle right, you can see the apartment buildings in there. And from a spherical capture perspective, those buildings are diametrically opposite to the light source, being the sun. And yet you can still make out the balconies and the windows on that apartment building. Of note is that utility asset box on the right-hand side. And that is representative assets. It's a common use case for mobile mapping and where Ladybug 6 is utilized. Notice this entire image was captured while the vehicle is driving down the road at 50 kilometers per hour, capturing at full frame rate. Now let's have a closer look at that utility asset box. Here's a difference between 30 megapixels, which we have captured at that image on the left-hand side with Ladybug 5 Plus, and what you can get from a 72 megapixel camera with Ladybug 6 on the right-hand side. To our eyes, we can quite clearly see the difference in resolution, quality, and discerning the alphanumeric characters between the left-hand side and the right-hand side. But remember, the target use case isn't always for humans, but quite often it's about the ability to process image data at scale. And so now we're talking about visual libraries, vision computer algorithms like optical character recognition. And so you can see on the right-hand side, for those characters of a certain size at a certain distance, you're going to have a much higher degree of confidence of capturing those characters accurately, correctly, right? What this also means is that for those same size characters at a further distance away, you're going to be able to increase your range of being able to accurately capture those identifiers on those utility assets. So those are benefits that you will get with higher resolution. I'm going to take a moment just to quickly reference the models and the part numbers that are available for both Ladybug 6 and Ladybug 5 Plus. So with Ladybug 6, you can see in that top box there, the first 2 rows indicate the 2 types of camera colors you can purchase with Ladybug 6. There's the black model, and then there's the red model. And then the third line references our development accessory kit for Ladybug 6. And we highly recommend that a development accessory kit be purchased when you're initially buying a Ladybug 6 and you're trying to perhaps do some design and evaluation of the camera or designing into a larger system. Once you are able to complete that design, then you can selectively choose which accessories you want to buy on a repeat basis, and those are listed here below. And it's the same thing with Ladybug 5 Plus. You can see the first two rows indicating the black and the red model. We also, again, highly recommend the Ladybug 5 Plus development accessory kit if it's one of your first camera systems that you're buying from us with respect to the Ladybug 5 Plus. And all the individual components in that kit are available for you to order at the volumes that you would like. Here's just a highlight of a couple key components that are commonly referenced. On the left-hand side, you can see the USB 3 hub that's typically used by our customers when they want to have multiple cables connected to extend the length between the camera and the host recording system. And then on the right-hand side is an example of the new M12X coded connector for the USB connection between the camera, which uses an IP67 M12 connector to the camera, and then the type A connector on the right hand side there to connect up to the host computer. Now let's talk about some of the updates that we've released over the past year. In the first quarter of 2023, we began shipping Ladybug 6. So that means we released new firmware for Ladybug 6 and a new software development kit that was applicable to both Ladybug 5 Plus and Ladybug 6. Shortly afterwards, we received feedback from the market, including several of our customers, saying, you know, the positioning systems that are being introduced in the market and where they want to do integration, we're changing what we call the PPS polarity, the pulse per second polarity, to maintain synchronicity and timing. In this particular case, I think our standard was from low to high, but some of the new systems were now requiring the ability to trigger from going from high to low. So we introduced that into our Ladybug cameras for both Ladybug 5 Plus and Ladybug 6. And while we introduced that update in the firmware, we took the time to address some fixes. So for example, you'll see timestamp jumping that we addressed. And when we launched Ladybug 6, when you applied the 8-bit processing settings for auto exposure, it affected the 12-bit settings as well. So we fixed that when we did the firmware release in Q3. Now, as mentioned, we also released a new Ladybug software development kit in Q1, and then in Q3, we just took care of a number of maintenance updates. So no major new features, just a number of enhancements and fixes, notably with respect to the API, our Ladybug Cap Pro Windows-based application, and then the Ladybug Recorder, which doesn't have a UI to it, but is used when you want to be able to just record in both Windows and Linux. The release notes, notably, are available on our website. You can just do a search for Ladybug release notes or Ladybug SDK release notes, for example, for this one, and you'll be able to follow up and see the details listed here below. Now, at the beginning of this year, we also released another Ladybug SDK release, and this is in response to a number of requests from our customers. On the left-hand side, something that our customers had been asking for was, can you support higher resolution images? And we've had this feature in our software development kit for many years, the ability to export larger panoramic images. It was just something that you had to specify under the customized settings. So because of these requests that we were getting from our customers, we actually made it explicit. You can now, in the drop-down box of the export size for a panoramic image, you can export a 16K by 8K image coming out of Ladybug 6. That's 134 megapixels per panoramic image. I've got a few more notes just to comment about that in the next slide, so I'm going to have something that I want to make sure is really clear. So I'll read that out to you in a moment. We also supported in our API the ability to toggle whether you're going to use a rising edge or a falling edge with a PPS as a PPS polarity setting. So that's just beforehand when we released the firmware, you could You could set it using register settings. Now we make that available through the API. And then with respect to our library, not every one of our customers requires the use of the ability to encode and export video out of our software development kit when they distribute the libraries for use by their customers. So we actually separated out the video encoder segment or portion of the library, and now they can optionally include that. But if you don't use it, you've got a smaller footprint being deployed with the libraries, and that makes it a little bit easier for our customers. And there's no change or no requirement for any change in the way they call our APIs if they don't make any calls to the video encoding library functions. Here's just a little bit more detail in here, but it also has this block of text that I want to read out to you. So the support for 134 megapixel panoramas. The Ladybug spherical imaging camera has a total sensor size of 72 megapixels. However, the internal lens distortion correction and panorama generation steps in the Ladybug SDK perform resampling and interpolation, which allows the generation of larger panoramas than what is capable from the physical sensor size. There is no change in the actual incoming data from the imaging sensors, but the resampling and interpolation steps may provide a higher perceived quality when outputting at a resolution greater than the physical sensor resolutions. The maximum pixel size of a panorama or panoramic image generated in this manner is 16,384 pixels by 8,192, or a total of 134 megapixels. Okay, so this wraps up what I wanted to share with you as a product line overview and update today. We're about to transition into our live Q&A segment of today's session, but I also want to make sure that if you do not already have a direct contact with someone at Teledyne, or specifically our Teledyne FLIR IIS group, please make a note of the respective email and telephone numbers on the left-hand side here. And with that, I'm going to conclude my portion of the presentation, and I'll hand it back. Thank you.